sister, Taiveyon, brother Alan Victorian, his brother Jose Matos. I also have his sister Brianna standing out here as well. You guys know my name is Keisha Victorian, and Taiveyon was my son. Like I stated before, I had Taiveyon when I was 16 years old. So he wasn't only my son, but he was my friend because we grew up together. Taiveyon was a loving child. He had a smile that could light up a room. If you ever met him, his smile was the first thing you saw. My son loved his family. He loved being around his family. There was a time anyone can call and they'd just be like, hey, Taiveyon stopped by. Taiveyon stopped by, saw what I was doing. Taiveyon stopped by, I think, the night before he stopped by, and just, hey, Grandma, seeing how you were doing. He was a grandma's boy. Anyone, they knew that. You know, Taiveyon loved his family just as much as he loved sports. Taiveyon played sports from 6 years old, but it was football. Football, football, football. You couldn't get a football out this boy's hand. He went to sleep with a football, woke up with a football. Played it all 4 years of high school at Zion Benton. He went off to play 1 year at Central Lakes College in Brainerd, Minnesota, and he made the decision. He said, Ma, I want to come home. I was upset, but I let my baby come home. But even coming home, he still had goals. He was like, I'm going to work, I'm gonna buy me a car, and I'm going to help take care of my family, Ma. And I said, okay. And he did those things. He was employed at Amazon. He bought his car. He was proud of that car, too. And then on that night, he was there. His brother went to his first homecoming. He was proud. He got dressed to go to this party. I watched my baby get dressed. He said, Ma, do I look good? I said, yes, son, you look good. I said, I love you. We had this word, me and my kids use it all the time. We say, I wish you enough. That's just, I wish you everything in life. I wish you joy, happiness. And for some reason, I didn't say it right away. Taiveyon left, went outside, and he came back in the house. He said, Ma, you didn't say, I wish you enough. I said, you're right. I said, I wish you enough, son. Are you coming home tonight? No. He said, yeah, I'll be home, but you'll probably be asleep, so I'll just see you in the morning before you go to church. So I stand here just to say that it's unfair that, yes, my son made a decision to go to a party, but someone took the decision for my son to come back home. Someone took that from me. And they took, in that very moment, they took my rock, my joy, my son. I told my family, I said, that very moment, my heart, it doesn't even beat the same any longer. So, no, I don't get to get my son back, but I'm not going to stop until justice is served for my son, because that was my baby, and no one had the right to do what they did to him. No one.
But I choose to fight because God is on my side. As the pastor of Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church, along with the congregation who are here today, we are here offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and the conviction of all of these offenders. Anyone with information about these suspects may either submit an anonymous web mobile tip in any language on the Lake County Crime Stoppers website at www.lakecountycrimestoppers.com or www.p3tips.com. You can also call the Lake County Crime Stoppers tip line at 847-662-2222 or contact the Round Lake Park Police Department at 847-546-7275. Crime Stoppers will never ask for your name or your phone number. Thank you for your presence, and may the Lord richly bless each of us as we take this battle to save our children from this senseless act of violence to another level.
Hey everybody, Interim here. just finished up the press conference for Taiveyon Victorian. He was shot and killed in Round Lake, 20 years old. He was shot and killed after a party after homecoming. And right now, Pastor Gast from Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church put together a press conference for people in the community to come out, and also to offer a $5,000 reward for anybody that has information, names of the people who are responsible for the shooting. Then here with the mother of Taiveyon Victorian, Keisha Victorian. This is a horrible thing that happened to your son, and my prayers go out to you, your family. I know you heard it 1,000 times, but I do mean it. Can you tell the people out there just how you're feeling and what you want the public to know?
Who ever knows something? It was so many people at that party. Someone has to know something someone has to speak. You know, someone has to say something. Someone has to just come forth and speak on it.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. That's what I want.
What are your thoughts about Pastor Gast putting this together? Anything you'd like to say to him in the community?
I mean, I love him. I thank everybody for standing behind us, but he's been with me from the beginning. I mean, when I got the phone call about Taiveyon getting shot, after calling my mom and my brothers, he was the next call, and he stayed at that hospital with us all night. So he's been there from the beginning with us and everything.
What's been keeping you through? What's been keeping you strong throughout this process?
Supernatural strength. I think God is giving it to me. He's giving it to me. I mean, I just want someone to speak, because the next time it could be someone else and then they'll be turning around saying the same thing.
Yep. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Give me a hug. I'm here with Pastor Gast right now from Mount Zion Church in Waukegan. You just presented and said that you were offering a $5,000 reward for anyone who knows information or who can give details about the shooting of Taiveyon. Can you tell the people why it was important for you to do this?
The reason we are involved as a church, because if you heard all of the accolades, Taiveyon was an outstanding young man of his caliber, his age, and for him to die a senseless death like that was tragic. The fact that the devil has taken one of our soldiers out of the church, we feel compelled to do everything in our power as a church to help to find those that are responsible. And sometimes the reward helps, sometimes it doesn't, but you know, we want to do everything in our power, and also to alert citizens that you have to come forward, because too many innocent people are dying, and if you don't come forward, that means those individuals out there with weapons can still kill, they're going to kill again, and we have to stop them on every front, because families are being turned upside down because of all this senseless killing. And it's not just here in Waukegan, it's all across this country. So this is why we're trying to push this on a national level, so that we can mobilize our veterans across this country, because we have all been in the military. We have all served to protect our country, but now we got to come back and protect our communities. And protecting our communities means that we have to come out of inactive into some kind of active form, to be the ears, the feet, the voice, the eyes out there in that community, and then to alert our brothers in uniform so that they can find all of these criminals, because the murders are happening every day in this country, all across this country, and it has to stop. It hasn't been this way, but it just seemed within the last 40 or 50 years, things have begun to escalate, and we need to try to put an end to it.
Here with Chief Falenko of Round Lake, correct?
Round Lake Park.
Round Lake Park.
I know everybody always gets the Round Lake area confused. There's a number of us. There is a Round Lake.
Okay, so it's Round Lake Park.
But it's Round Lake Park.
Okay, I'm learning something today.
There you go.
Okay, well, thank you.
Sure.
How much can you tell us about just the case and what's been going on? Of course, this is a tragic event, and we appreciate you coming up and saying those kind words to the public.
Yeah.
Just what are your thoughts, and how much can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I went over some of the general details, and if you've interviewed anybody involved in a homicide investigation or any major crime, you know that we're limited on talking about every aspect of it, because it could compromise the case down the road. Because ultimately, catching the individuals that did this and arresting them is only the beginning of the process. A successful prosecution is ultimately where you're going to bring justice to the victim and the family.
Right.
So this is a case of a house party that got out of control.
Why is it important for people to speak up if they know any information about this? Today we had the press conference, Pastor Gast offered the reward for $5,000. Why is it important for people to stand up and say something?
Well, ethically, morally, it's important to do that. Investigatively for the police, an eyewitness is our best resource, because these types of cases aren't simply put together with forensics and tips and clues. They're put together with eyewitness accounts, succinct identification of the individuals that were involved in the shooting. This code of silence, growing up in an area where we had gang issues, and it was Humboldt Park, I understand it, and there's also a fear factor. I understand that also. But people need to realize this, and I spoke to a gentleman and said, look, if we get a tip, it can be completely anonymous, and that tip could at least point us in the right direction. That name provided on that tip could be a case breaker. So that's why it's important for people to come forward, and you know what? Don't we owe that to the family?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
You know, I mean, people need to think, what if that's your brother, your sister, your cousin, somebody who's a close friend? Wouldn't you want this brought to justice? This was a senseless murder. This is just happening way too often.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around it. None of these get any easier for me, and I've been involved in a few hundred murder cases, but none of them, each one of them seems to be getting more difficult. Maybe it's because I'm getting older.
Well, thank you so much for your service.
Yeah.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and can you tell everybody if they have any information where they can go to provide any tips or anything?
So there's a number of ways you can do it. You can do it online by just contacting Lake County Crime Stoppers. They have an anonymous tip format. You could also call the Round Lake Park Police Department at 847-546-7275. Contact Lake County Crime Stoppers. Again, I don't have their number handy, but you can also find that online. Everything is anonymous. We also have a web page that's interactive, and if you send an email to us, that also remains confidential. So that's all we're looking for, is point us in the right direction, provide us some leads. We want to follow up on them. More information is better.
Right. Do it for Taiveyon.
Please.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's nice to meet you.
If you know anything, please send out information. Follow the Inchworm Show. Give the Inchworm Show some information.